Astrology series and why I mixed them as so did they in the old times. And Sunday always has the number 1 since it's the beginning of the week, and Saturday is day 7. And that can shift with religion and spirituality, but that is the old thing that Sunday was the beginning. And the numbers 3, 6 and 9 are very creative and artistic and so on. And 2, 4 and 8, they like material things. Sometimes it shows up like in status, having it down on earth and so on. And 1, 5 and 7 are very independent and always have the hermit mode that you like being alone. You can like to be with others, but you also need your alone time and you are independent. You don't really rely on others so much. And just looking at my dates here. I was born on the 27th, so the personality number is 9. And that is quite right until you are about 30. Then my month is 10. And that is a 0 always amplifies the number before, so I'm a strong 1 in that case. And my life part was 7, of course, my whole. And date gives you the personality up to 30 years. And in my case, I have 2, that is the moon, and 7 is Neptune. And attitude is when you combine the date and month. So I have 9 and I have 1. That gives us a 10 again. And 1 is the sun. So now we have Neptune and we have the sun. And of course we have a little bit influence of the moon there and men. And when we use my whole full name. And this happens to me when I got married. The name change, I turned into an 8. And I use all the middle names and everything in your name when you do this. Then you can do some other things with your nicknames as well, but how you present yourself, like in the office or as a nickname to your friends or... But that name change started to cause a little bit of havoc in my life since everybody started competing with me, and I wasn't into, well, I love competing in athletics and as an equestrian, but I didn't compete for the job and I didn't understand really why. People always saw me as a threat since I was climbing up the ladder and so on. So suddenly people just, after about 3 months, people started to look at me like I was after their job when I wasn't. So it was and 8 is ruled by Saturn. So that can, when people, that's why I don't usually tell people to just take on a magical name and play around with them, since if you have a lot of friends who knows your magical name, then it might start to affect you a little bit. So a short overview here, and I even included some of the planets from from India and so on, Vedic. 1 is beginning and independent, and that is the sun. And this might often show you to your sun sign as well. And 2 is intuitive, and it's about shape, tides, emotions, nurturing, that kind of sign, and it's a moon sign. So if the number 2 comes up in your, you might have a strong inclinations that you should look at your moon sign. And moon is like 2 ones. If you, I mean, this is 11, but it becomes 2. If you don't live an 11 life and really try to better yourself, you're a 2, even if it says 11 on the paper. It isn't just that you are born with a right to be a number 11 or 22. It is if you put in the work. And 3, it is seeking expression and expansion. And here we have Jupiter, but we also have Mars. So that is, if you're number 3, looking at where those planets are in your natal chart. And 4, hardworking, serious and rational. And here we also have different planets. We have Mercury and we have Uranus. But it's also combined in Vedic and those kind of things with Rahu and the North Node. So you might want to check those out as well. They are very similar in energy, Uranus and Rahu and so on. So if you feel something is off and it doesn't really explain it with Uranus, check it out. 5 is adventure, a chameleon, escapism, a difficulty to focus since they love to do so many things at once, and it usually takes to get some age there to get it going. And it's just that they are good at many things and like to try out new things. And there we have Jupiter and Mercury. So check those out if you're a number 5. And 6 is very sensory and it's the Venus planets. And you have the nurturing, beauty, Venusian art, taste, smell, all kinds of those things. And 7 is very skeptical and mystical. And spirituality is quite a strong thing since you feel empty without it, I know. And research is natural, serious, and unbendable in many ways. And there's the Saturn and Neptune, but also Ketu with the South Node. And 8, we have wealth, power, success, struggles, and men who has 8, they used to be more successful. Women usually have more struggles. I know that since my name changed, people started to think I was competing and I wasn't. So that is what, and I talk to other females who also have number 8, and it's not always that we are so aggressive with wanting what we want, but people might somehow feel it like we are after them or their job when we are really not. So there we have Uranus and Saturn. Did I say Neptune there or Mercury retrograde? Neptune and Saturn for 7, and here we have Uranus and Saturn and Rahu North Node as well, that you might check into. And 9 is the humanitarian. It's all about endings and completions and so on. And it is Neptune and Mars and also Ketu South Node. And having 9 in my personality is young. That was very good, since that's the humanitarian in me, and it shapes you within the first 30 years. And I always get things completed. I don't even think about completion or makes anything list. When I start something, it gets done, and that's just the way I am. So this is just to give it a personal touch, how it might show up. And 11, 22 and 33. And in one way you can say it is like double 1s, double 2s and double 3s. And it goes down to a single digit if you are not dedicated and do the hard work. And if you do the hard work, then you will reach the double numbers. And if you don't, then you are just a regular 1, 2 or 3. But what is interesting, that psychics often have number 11. And it is about that connection that 1 and 7 has. This is the clear from 1 to the skies, from earth to sky, drawing down. That kind of thing symbolically in the numbers. And 0 amplifies the number. And then you have date and month. And then you have your personal year, empowered year. You can check out to your house and planets, work, meaning, etc. These are just as when you combine things and put them together, you find out what is your talents as well. And I'm just going to show you classic angels and magic here. And this is what it looks like with the planets here. And the number for that turned out to 10. My name, Marjorie Ek, without my middle names, is number 7 here. And different approaches for personal year. Sometimes they start with your birth year. Many start that your cycle becomes the year after your birth, since you didn't have any baggage. And then we have the different calendars, Julian, Nero, Hebrew, Chaldean, Babylonian, etc. And number 3 is very interesting for Christianity. 7 is the old school grimoires and magic. And 9 is very new age and vibrations for many. And then we have Chinese, Buddhism, and they have also different ways. So what fits you? And you just try this out on paper, and then you find out what you're good at, and then you might find what direction to go there. And yoga, Qigong, and spirituality or religion, that might also show that if you practice yoga, that you might want to go to the Vedic Indian style. And if you do Qigong, you might be turn into the Chinese or Buddhism, and then you might turn into Kabbalah and you do the Hebrew way, and so just, or the Christian way or whatever, and you will feel it true, since you're just calculating and analyzing, and then you see how it fits you and what works for you, so you get to amp up your understanding of life. So this is just a way to analyze and keep a track of your own growth and how each different year comes to you, since every year is one number. So we are either in number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, 8, or 9. And how does the new year affect you? What will your year be? And you can ask that if you are, let's say, 53, and you take the year after, that is most accurate for many, then you take the date and month and the year to see how this year will affect you. And then for your personal power years, you take -1 year of your age and calculate it with 9. And that way you can feel where your power years are when you have double digits and so on. So just experiment it with thought, and you can look back in your life and you had a power year, and you might feel that this was the thing that was truly me, and then you might see what really was meant for you. So be inspired and have a magical day. Bye for now.